everybody, we're back. What a wonderful time of the year. Our garden is finally producing stuff. We were kind of late planting it. My flowers are looking beautiful. Hummers are here. I actually put up more feeders for them, and the other feeders are covered in birds. There are lots of young birds checking out new sources of food. My son Kieran really wanted to help me with washing my hummingbird feeders, so I'm gonna do all the talking now and then we'll do the action a little bit later so he doesn't get distracted. So what's up with hummingbird feeders? Well, as you know, nectar spoils really fast in hot weather. So if you see black on the inside of your feeder, it means you've left the nectar in there for too long, and that's mold growing inside. Not so good for the hummers. You're supposed to clean hummingbird feeders every time you refill them, and you have to refill them more frequently in really hot weather. So this is what you can do. If you're using bottle-like hummingbird feeders and you're having a hard time getting inside and washing it properly, try using rice to get all the things inside shaken up. So this is what you do. Put a little bit of rice, a little bit of water, shake the feeder, loosen everything inside, then get rid of the rice and place your hummingbird feeder in a 1 to 10 bleach solution for at least 15 minutes. This is the only thing that will kill bacteria and mold that grow inside the hummingbird feeder. Then rinse the feeder really well and let it air dry completely before using it again. John Petrus, a regular contributor from Pennsylvania, wanted to share this story and hear what David has to say about it. So a friend of his was sitting in his backyard when all of a sudden a mourning dove flew by and hid in the bushes behind him. A few minutes later, a red-shouldered hawk showed up looking for the dove. That of course caused an uproar among all the local birds. The hawk couldn't find its prey, so it just took off. The mourning dove took its time coming out of its hiding place.
Hi John, always good to hear from you. I found your friend's account of the mourning dove hiding from the red-shouldered hawk intriguing and even slightly amusing, although I doubt that the dove found the situation funny in any sense of the word. First, I was a wee bit surprised that it was a red-shouldered hawk searching for the dove and not a Cooper's hawk. Mourning doves are a favorite prey item of Cooper's hawks, but only an occasional item on the menu of a red-shouldered hawk. Red-shoulders, with their somewhat weaker feet, usually hunt mice and reptiles and amphibians, whereas Cooper's hawks are mostly bird hunters with the odd squirrel taken. Moreover, your friend's description of the hunting method is one that's more often used by Cooper's hawks. They have short, rounded wings with long tails, which lend themselves well to running on the ground and dashing into even thick bushes after prey. There's that famous example of a coop running under a pioneer woman's bustle dress after a chicken. Red shoulders have longer, wider wings and tails, which are better adapted for soaring over treetops in search of prey. But you know, raptorial birds are somewhat opportunistic, and a chance to grab a vulnerable, somewhat defenseless prey item is usually not turned down. I was not surprised about the dove's behavior in hiding behind your friend's tools and refusing to show itself. Think about that movie Jurassic Park, where the human prey is hiding in various hidden spots to avoid being found by a velociraptor. I'm sure that the dove was terrified. The peanut gallery, consisting of all those noisy songbirds, was a successful attempt to mob the hawk and drive it out of the area, and I'm sure the dove was quite grateful.
Well, I am super excited because on this episode we have a virtual guest from Texas. Jesse Huth is a poultry consultant, but he's also an expert in wild birds. Today he is talking about Texan titmice.
Howdy, this is Jesse with Huth Avian, and today I want to take a little time to talk about the trouble with titmice. Specifically, the trouble that some people have with identifying titmice here in central Texas. Now the reason for that is because there are two main species of titmice that we have here, the tufted titmouse and the black-crested titmouse. Now by themselves these aren't very hard to tell apart. The tufted titmouse here is, well, it has a gray crest and a little bit of black on the forehead, while the black-crested titmouse here has well, of course, a black crest and a lighter colored forehead, kind of peachy colored to light gray. But right here in the middle of central Texas, these two species, their ranges overlap and they hybridize. So you get a third option, which kind of sits in between those two, which is the hybrid tufted and black-crested titmouse. Now, this was the only thing that happened that might not be that big of a deal, because there would be one intermediate hybrid that you could tell apart from these other two titmice. However, this hybrid zone has been around for thousands of years, and so instead of having just one hybrid type, you get an entire spectrum of different types of hybrid titmice here in central Texas, going from tufted all the way over in a gradient to the black-crested. So scientists divide these up by two main traits, the crest color and the forehead color. So they rate that on a scale of 0 to 3. For the crest color, if it's pure gray, same color as the back of the nape of the bird, that is rated 0, and that's what a tufted titmouse is. If it's rated 3, then it's jet black, and that is a black-crested titmouse. A 1 or 2 is kind of an intermediate coal color. For the forehead, a rating of 0 would be an all-black forehead, deep black forehead, and a rating of 3 would be a very light-colored forehead, light peachy color to mostly light gray. And then the 1 and 2 ratings in between there is a different variations on the chestnut color. So you add these numbers together. If you still have 0, you have a pure tufted titmouse. If you have 6, you have a pure black-crested titmouse. Anything else, adding those two different traits together, and you have a hybrid. Now that, again, seems like it might be pretty straightforward, but there's of course exceptions to even that rule. Way out in West Texas, out of the hybrid range, you will get some black-crested titmice that do have a darker colored forehead. And then even here in the hybrid range, especially this time of year, late summer, when these birds have young ones, the young ones look very plain. Their crests are plain, their foreheads are plain. They almost look more like oak titmice or juniper titmice, which we don't have here in central Texas, but they can often be confused for that. And telling apart which species it is or whether or not it's a hybrid, you just can't do. Their songs are nearly identical, so you can't tell. There's that to tell them apart. So the main way to look is if you find an adult male singing somewhere, he is, you can more easily tell if that one's a tufted, a hybrid, or a black-crested, because even the female black-crested have a little bit lighter color to the crest. But you only have to worry about this in one little area, which starts about right up here in Dallas, comes down towards Austin, San Antonio, and a little bit over towards Corpus Christi. If you're outside of that range, you are either going to have the tufted or the black-crested titmouse, and you don't have to worry about figuring out which one is which. So I hope you learned a little bit there and are able to go out and appreciate the titmice in the field a little bit better. So until next time, hope you have a great day and good birding.
Last episode, David talked about hummingbirds being able to see in the ultraviolet spectrum, but it turns out that Ecuadorian hill star hummers can also hear in the ultrasonic range. Typically, birds can hear sounds up to 10,000 hertz, which is half as high as us humans. We hear from 20 to 20,000 hertz, but hill stars can hear and sing in the range of about 13,000 hertz, which puts them well above all the other birds. So basically, this means that these birds have developed a secret language, which must look a little bit strange to other birds. So here it is, this beautiful hummingbird sitting, opening its mouth, and nothing's coming out of it. Owls are the only other birds that have been proven to hear ultrasonic sounds, but that's only to listen and track their prey, not to communicate with each other. So researchers are thinking that hill star hummingbirds have evolved their songs to a higher frequency so that their love songs would not compete with all the background noise. Love, or is it actually hormones that are the best motivators? Recent Lately, there hasn't been a lot of good news coming from the governments about protecting wildlife, birds in particular, but last week there was a glimmer of hope. The House of Representatives passed Bill H.R. 919, the Bird Safe Buildings Act. Basically, this act will affect all federal buildings which will have to be retrofitted with non-reflective glass and or screens, and all new federal buildings will have to come with less glass and equipped with anti-collision features. Even though these rules have been adopted and introduced by many states, this is the first time such a thing is being done federally. The bill is being introduced to the Senate shortly, but conservationists are feeling really positive about it passing. I don't know about you, but herons and cranes represent summer for me, so I really enjoyed looking at all the pictures. Now let's check out the top 5. Here's the third place, the second place, and the grand prize winner. Congratulations, everybody. We have 2 contests in September. The first one, the next one is disputing birds. And again, don't forget to write the names of the birds that you enter in our contest. Well, goodbye for now. We're off to pick some beans in our garden. My kids absolutely love eating them just raw. If you participate in our photo contest, please don't forget to ID your birds. Take care, everyone, and enjoy the summer.